Hello my brothers and sisters in nerdiness, welcome back to the Spider's Web. In this video we're going to be painting the Ambot from Necromunda by Games Workshop. This is a fairly biggish model, as you can tell, so we're doing one of them. I've already painted one which has a different colour scheme. This paint I'm using at the moment, first off, is rough iron. I forgot to show what I was using, which is a bit unusual for me, but never mind. And this is going to go all over the internal mechanical parts that you can see. I'm not touching any of the armor panels yet with it. Well, not intentionally anyway. I can't, you know, if you do catch them with this paint, don't worry. We are going to be going over with enough paint. So you'll cover this up, no problem. So, the dry brushing that I did in the previous video for this was unnecessary in this case, but it does help, to be honest, just giving it that little bit of a dry brush. You can see where the details are, you can see what you're looking at, and it's not just all a black blob. Plus, I suppose it could also help with some, what do you call it? Shadow and highlights thing if you apply the paints sparingly enough. But in this case, the paints went on fairly thick and did full coverage. As you can see on that shoulder panel there, I caught it, but I say don't worry about it because we're going over with shining silver. All the armor panels are going to be coated in this, because we are going to be painting this a nice bright colour. Now, I don't want it to look brand new just off the shelf, because these minis aren't supposed to be. These are supposed to be big mining mining machines, which have been sort of like converted into like vehicles, sorry, machines of destruction, shall we say. So yeah, we want them to look a little bit worn, but I'm trying to make it so it looks metallic and looks nice. Now I'm not sure which of the factions is going to be using these with, because these aren't mine. They are they belong to Andy from Wigan Wargames and RPG Club. He's asked me to put them together and paint them up for him. I have a few boxes of these, not of the Ambots, but a few boxes of the teams from, or the factions from Necromunda. He's also given me the Ash Wastes box, which has been unopened, so I will be doing an unboxing video for that. We can have a look at what's inside it, and I'll also be making up the models and painting them up as well. So you're going to get the full package from that one, but bear in mind these don't belong to me. I don't do Games Workshop stuff, as well you probably know. So yeah, once all the armor panels are done, I noticed that I'd forgot to put the little like circular saw blades or whatever they may be on the left hand, so I'm just doing that now. So it's basically a case of scraping off some of the paint that I've put on, getting some glue, and popping the little disky things on either side of the hand. It's an easy enough job, not a problem, not too taxing. These are plastic models, and the Humbrol paint that I'm using will sort of like meld together and they'll be stuck there. And just give them a going over with the rough iron just to make them tie in with the other side. There we are, not a problem. All done and dusted. Now, blood red speed paint all over the silver areas. Yes, this is why we put the silver on, to make this look really bright and shiny. And it does the job. You should see this done with the blue paint. I wish I'd done the tester one with this red and then done the blue paint on this one, because it's amazing, the colours and the tints that you get from the blue over the silver. I will be using that effect more often. Excuse me. Got a bit of a cough, so I've got a nice cold drink with me so I can have a sip while I'm talking to you. So yes, this red all over the areas of, or the main areas of the body. Now I'm not doing the trim on this shoulder, and I'm not doing the big metal plate on the back of that shoulder, because I want that to be done a different colour, and you'll see which colour a little bit later on. Now I did have issues with the way I did this. I think I should have done the other colour first, varnished it, and then done this colour, because I had more control with this. I found it much easier doing these areas that I could keep away from the edges and that kind of thing with this, than trying to keep the other paint off the other colour off the red. And with these speed paints, if you're not careful, you will reactivate them, which is why when I've done a coat of this, I always leave it to dry and then spray it with gloss varnish and then a matte varnish to come back over the top of it. But yeah, as we're getting near the end of this, I'm not going to go straight into the next colour because it's much lighter, but I want to get rid of any of the red, or as much of the red as I can, over any areas that I want to be yellow. Okay, I've just told you what colour I'm using. Yes, it's yellow. I'm going to do this one red and yellow, like a Christmas tree decoration. So that's that done. Now we wait for it to dry, and we wait for it to dry, and we wait for it to dry. Oh, it's dried. Oh, that's good. Zelda Yellow is the one we're using. Now, as I said, I should have done this bit first and then done the red after it, because, or even varnished it, because I did pick up some red, and yeah, it did spoil it slightly, especially on this shoulder canopy. Canopy? I don't know what, no, shoulder protector, I don't know what it's called. But, yeah, it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I don't expect it to be perfect. I don't expect it to be, I don't want it to look perfect. I don't want it to look as though it's just come straight off the factory floor. I want it to look as though it's been used, it's been ground up. And actually some of the red bits in this do look as though it has been used. But on the panel, on this big panel on the back, what I'm doing now at the edge now, I wish I'd have been a bit more careful in how much of this yellow I'd put on, because some of it looks orange around the little stubs that's on it, and it does spoil it a little for me. But you know, I finished it, I gave it to Andy, Andy's happy with it, so that's all that matters. As long as the person who owns it is happy, that's all that matters. Plate mail metal now. Pop that on the palette, and making sure that the brush is slightly damp, not wet, we'll go over and give it a dry brush. You don't want the brush to be wet, you don't want the brush to be bone dry, you don't want the brush to be sopping wet, you want it to be just slightly damp to the touch. You don't want any water dripping off it, you don't want to be able to squeeze any water out of it, it's just got to be just off dry, if you know what I mean. And that way you don't get the powdery build up from the paint. It doesn't look powdery, it just looks right, if you know what I mean. And it's a bit of practice for this. I have started using this from the wet palette, which you saw at the beginning of the previous video where I did the Palatine Forces. Now here I decided to paint yellow, and then I realised after comparing it to the other one that it's not the trim colour that I use for it, it's the main colour. So I'm just wiping the yellow off and going back with the blood red. There we are, that's that done. No problem. Painting, whether it be pictures or minis, is all a case of making adjustments. Yeah, so as I was saying, these minis are supplied by Andy from Wigan Wargames. If you're interested in and you live around the Wigan area, then we meet on a Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock at the Masonic Lodge in Pemberton. If you are interested in joining or coming down at least to have a look at what we do and have a chat with us, then please feel free. We're always happy to see you, and we'll make you feel welcome, and joining some games with us and whatnot, and hopefully you might like us enough to join. Become a permanent member. We're only a small group, we're a small bunch of idiots, but we're friendly, we don't bite. Deck tone is what we're going to be using now, and that's going to go over all the bits that we've just dry brushed, all the internal mechanical stuff. Yeah, as I said, we do a mix of different things. We do board games. We're currently doing a D&D session every few weeks. Necromunda's being planned, and a few other games are being planned as well. So, as I say, if you're interested in coming down to have a chat with us and see what we're about, and hopefully join us, then please feel free to do so. As I say, Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock. The doors will be locked, so you'll have to bang on them so we can come and open it for you. Seriously, I'm not joking though. The doors are going to be locked. You need to bang on the doors. But, yeah. Now then, we've done this wash. So the wash, like the speed paints, takes ages to dry. So once it's dried, we'll give it a gloss varnish, then a matte varnish, and then we'll come back. So it's waiting again. That's all we do. Wait, wait, wait. Oh, we're dry. Now, here I'm pointing out that I wasn't happy with it because of the orangey bits around some of the things. So what I actually did, and I forgot, in fact, I forgot to press record on the thing. So I basically painted over with the shining silver again, and then I redid the yellow, but it's still looking red, so I've just let it build up a bit too much, but it has been varnished, and we're ready for carrying on now. It's not going to reactivate with water. I also dry brushed over the areas that we just put the wash, just to bring out some of the details, and it looks really nice now. I don't know whether you can tell that on camera, but it really does look good. Well, it does in real life anyway. The details look really crisp. High Lord Blue is what we're going to be using now. This is the one I used on the other Ambot, but I'm using this now just on the mandibles here, because he does like a big insect, and the eyes, and that little bit on the top there. Now the face on the other one is slightly different to this one, but you'll see that at the end. I'm now showing rough iron. Yes, this is the paint that I started off with, going over the mechanical stuff on the inside, but here we're going to cover the base, because we're coming down to the end, fairly near the end of the video now. We've almost completed what we want. It's just details now to pick out. So we do this to give it a basic metallic background, and now matte black, and we're going to paint some areas like around this control box here. It's got the on off switch and whatnot, and now we're going to be using this on just slightly dry brushing just to crisp up the edge. And now quick shade wash mixing medium. This one is from the set, from the colour metallic set. Is it? I don't know. I don't think, no it's not. What am I talking about? No it's not. It's from the, I bought this separate I think. yeah, I'll yeah, explain everything later on what I'm talking about. So here we're just going round doing a few black lines, panel lines, that kind of thing. Not round everywhere, only the most obvious places. So any bit where there's like a little inset line, like we're going to fill it all in with this black just to make it stand out a little bit. And then round raised areas we'll put a little bit of this black as well, just to give it that depth and a little more life, and make it look a bit more 3D-ish, even though it is 3D, you know what I mean. It looks as though there's a build-up of grime towards the edges, and that's what we're looking for. So we'll do this, as I say, in the most obvious areas. You don't need to do it everywhere. It's just going to be too much to look at. But if, as I say, if you do the obvious areas, then you can't go far wrong. So now, Furry Dust. This is the one I was thinking of. This I got in the Metallic Colours paint sets. This is a set that was given free by the Army Painter, or sent to me free by the Army Painter. Demonic Yellow is going into it, and this makes the yellow look metallic. The Furry Dust is a specialist paint that makes any of the normal matte paints metallic. It certainly changes the tint to it, but it's a really nice paint to use if you want to just give a few metallic highlights in a similar colour. But as I say, that's why the Army Painter logo is on the corner there, because it was sent to me free of charge. Shining silver once again. We've seen this before. I just want to touch up this little crotch plate, or whatever it's called, and one of the feet that I forgot to paint, or one of the toes I forgot to paint. Yeah, so whenever you see the Army Painter logo pop up on a certain paint colour, this is pure red, and we're going to go into the Furry Dust with this as well. Right, I'll get this sentence out in a bit. So whenever you see the Army Painter come up for around a paint that I'm using, it's because it's from the set that I was sent free of charge as a review copy. That's why that is. Okay, so I'm just adding this red Furry Dust mix to a couple of places. Mix some of the red with the orange for one of the buttons, the yellow for a button, the red for a button. And now Gemstone is one of the ones from the set, as you can see from that little passage that I wrote. Basically exactly what I've just told you. And we're doing this on these recessed areas on the base, on the little lines and panel, recessed panel areas. I'm trying to make this all look as though it's in the same city. So all the bases I've done will have this colour. So they all look the same. And we'll use some plate mail metal, and that will do the raised areas on the base. Yeah, plate mail metal, just in case you couldn't see it first time. If you've enjoyed this video, then please feel free to keep a like and subscribe if you really enjoyed the video. And if you do subscribe, then click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. If you really enjoyed if you think you've picked up anything useful, you can become a patron to help financially with the channel. And also you can buy me a coffee as well, which does roughly the same thing as Patreon, only slightly different. Now we're using Citadel paints, Typhus Corrosion here. This is going all over well, not all over, but quite a few splotches here and there on the base to give it a lovely rusty effect, or corroded effect at the moment. And then round the edge of the base with the matte black. Yes, and for those who think it's sacrilegious for me to be painting a Citadel or Games Workshop mini with paints other than Citadel, don't care. Don't have many Citadel paints left. I have more Vallejo and Army Painter, so that's what I'm doing. Here, all I'm doing is just blowing onto the typhus corrosion to dry it up a bit. There's nothing in the paint. I'm just, as I said, just blowing just to dry it up a bit faster. And now we can add some Rise of Rust as the typhus corrosion has dried. This gives a lovely rusted effect on the corrosion that we've already put down. Really, really nice, as you may be able to see from some of these pictures. I'll put a picture up at the end of both Ambots together, what I've painted. And now this has been done, when it's dried, we're going to go over with gloss varnish. In fact, we'll do it now. We'll blast over with gloss varnish now, and then when that's dried, we can give it a blast over with matte varnish. The varnishes I'm using at the moment is Windsor and Newton. But that's about all we have for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. So until next time, where we're going to might be continuing with what you call it, Necromunda. Stay safe and take care. God bless and bye for now.